For the month of February, we have the pleasure of honoring Robert H. Bradley, who served in the U.S. Army.
We call upon God's mercy to surround the Bradley family with comfort and love. May the infinite understanding and blessings of God fill their hearts with peace.
Normally, this is where the county executive would say a few words. He apologizes he could not be here today. He had other business he had to attend to. So I'll be standing in for him. Normally when we have these honor vet ceremonies, the county executive would talk about how they went off and performed their service and they came back and would integrate into life and the contributions they made. Here we had a young man a very promising young man. He got drafted, went to basic training, and during basic training, is my understanding that there was a motor vehicle accident which left him deeply injured. After spending time in the hospital, he was then transferred back to the VA here in Albany, where he eventually succumbed to his wounds. To hear that the VA didn't recognize him as a veteran was such a travesty. So that's why when this case was brought to us, we decided that we needed to do this, because less than 1% of the population actually puts on this uniform, whether you volunteer or you're drafted. So you put this uniform on for one day, you are a veteran. So it's with honor that we get to hold this ceremony today for Robert Bradley and acknowledge that yes, he was a veteran, he served his country, and he served it with honor. On behalf of the county executive, I do have a proclamation thanking Robert Bradley and honoring him for his service.
For his desire to serve. I'm told he even had some family circumstances coming as he was ready to leave for training and still committed himself to that service. A tragic situation that reminds us that our veterans give their all in service to this country.
We take that sacrifice too often among those who didn't serve for granted. And it's up to us to make some kind of another sacrifice, to help our neighbors, to make sure that we help the infirmed, or do something that makes this world a little bit better. And Robert Bradley did that.
When I heard the story of Private Bradley, I was immediately struck by the loss. But what's attached to that loss and forever attached to it is the commitment to serve. That commitment to serve regardless. And I think that message is obviously exaggerated and perpetuated by the loss, and it's something that needs to be echoed.
On behalf of myself and my brother in the county legislature, we have a proclamation on behalf of Private Robert Bradley and his selfless sacrifice and service to this country.
Waterville Arsenal stands by, ready in defense of freedom, just like Robert H. Bradley raised his right hand to defend freedom, America, here and abroad. So I just want to say thank you for the men and women of Waterville.
Well, first, I certainly thank you all for being here today. We're so grateful for your presence, and it means a lot to all of us. I am Father John Bradley, the oldest of 5 children. My brother Tom was next, and then Bob was the middle, my sister Kathy, and my brother Joe. As we gather here today, I just remind you, just to point out a few things he did in life before his life in service. He had many, many friends. He was close to lots of people. He was very outgoing, quiet, but very outgoing in a sense of personally engaging with people. He graduated from the 8th grade at Blessed Sacrament School. And then after that, went on to McCluskey High School. And there at McCluskey, he realized something he didn't know and that we didn't know, that he had a great talent for art and drawing. He had many good friends. He was president of the parish youth group at Blessed Sacrament. After he finished high school, he worked very briefly as an apprentice carpenter, and then at Williams Press in Menands. He was just a kind, caring person. People were struck by his kindness. The rest of us could have rough edges, but my brothers and sisters, but not my brother Bob. He was always just very gentle, patient, kind, understanding. As many young people of his time, he was drafted. He knew he was going to be drafted. He was ready to go and willing to go when the time came. And he was drafted in the fall of 1965. In May of 1966, by this time he had moved on to Fort Benning, Georgia, he was preparing to go to Vietnam. That was the plan. And they were out on a training exercise, and he was in the back of a truck where the soldiers sit facing each other on their way or back from exercises. And the truck had an accident, went off the road, and he was knocked unconscious. And he never regained consciousness and died 100 days later. We could go every day and visit him, and we did. And what we would do is, we would talk to him, tell him all that was going on, tell him all the stories, all the details, fill him in, and everything was happening everywhere. And family and friends could come, so it was really a wonderful place for him to be for those last days. And then, on the 27th of August, he died at the hospital, and we were all there. And as sad as it was also very beautiful. A beautiful short life was complete. And we were very grateful to have been there for all of it and be part of his whole life. So he did die serving his country as far as we were concerned. We still miss him. And we're always inspired by the example of his life. We say none of us could quite be like him. We didn't have that kindness, that patience, that ability to grasp people and to lift them up. He was just unique, and we are always, to this day, inspired by that great example. So again, I thank you for recognizing him today. My family thanks you, and we thank my brother for that wonderful service, his short, brief life that touched us and so many.